Welcome back, folks. My name's Shane. In today's video, we're checking out the Kemper Profiler Player. This is Kemper's latest addition to their lineup, and it's also their most affordable, although it's still quite expensive. We'll talk more about the value at the end of this video and whether or not this is actually worth it. I've been using this now for quite some time, and I have some pretty strong thoughts, both in the positives and also in the negatives. So this will be a pros and cons review from someone who's owned the rack unit head back in the day. So I'm going to talk about my experience with this, but before we get into it, a huge thank you to Sky Music for the loan of it. I don't get to keep it, no money's changed hands, and all thoughts about this are my own. And if you want to check this out, I'll link it down in the description box below. Let's make some noise. Now, to use the Kemper Profiler Player, it's pretty straightforward. We get all the main controls here. So there's a gain control that has LED lights around it that allow you to see how much gain each of the profiles have that you're using. And then if you turn it up, it actually will light up and move around. It's pretty wild. We get a 3-band EQ. On this side over here, we get a rig volume, which allows you to turn up the profile rig that you're currently on. And then there's a master output volume. So if you're using this to an audio interface via that XLR or to a PA system, that's that master output. On the back here, there's two different USB ports. This USB-A is for firmware updates. You just need a USB stick, and that process is very simple. And this is a printer-style USB cable that's designed to connect to your computer. We get an XLR output, headphone output. We get two left and right TRS connectors, an expression pedal output, and over here we have our guitar input jack. Now, if you're someone who's used to using Rig Manager via that USB cable, you can now use it via your phone, which makes this a pretty cool upgrade, as much as I don't love that software, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But yeah, it gives you two different types of connectivity, which is pretty cool. At the time of filming in Australia, this is $1,300 or $700 in the US. So they're getting up there in terms of price, but this is made in Germany, which is one of the reasons why it probably costs a little more than other units that might have an LCD screen, all that kind of stuff. But if you're looking to get into the Kemper ecosystem, then I'm going to talk more about that at the end of this video and whether or not this is for you. So anyway, I hope you find this video helpful or useful. Just know the tones out of this thing are pretty sick. I hope you like it. Let's get into it. I'm going to showcase a bunch of different tones, starting with some that I actually captured using my old Kemper rack unit head. So this is my Marshall DSL back here, loaded with a Texas Heat speaker with some delay on the UltraGain channel. And this was the solo tone that you heard at the start of this video. Here we go. Alright, so it's just a little bit rolled out on the top end, and that's thanks to that Texas heat speaker. But if you want more, you can just simply turn the treble up. Might bring the bass down a hair here. Let's have a listen to this. So this is still neck pickup. So that's the tone, right? If I was running a delay through my Marshall in the effects loop, or even in the front end, that's a similar sort of sound, except I'm getting a stereo delay, being that I'm recording out over USB. So this sounds pretty great. Still on the Marshall, I captured this really cool profile of the crunch channel. It's kind of like that classic rock style sound. If you want that sizzle, just turn up the treble. So there you go, it's really easy just to customize the sound if it's not quite right from the beginning. Over to a clean profile I made of the Marshall with exactly the same speaker. Here we go. This is one thing that the Kemper gets right. It kind of nails the frequencies of the clean tones, whereas when I play through my 2 notes capped or X, it sometimes struggles, especially on that neck pickup, but this does it really well. All right, let's take a look at some of the clean profiles I've found on the Rig Exchange. So you can connect all of this to the internet, and then you've got access to over 20,000 different profiles. And this first one's a Peavey Classic 50, which is an amplifier I just purchased. Let's have a listen to this on neck pickup. That's beautiful. Up next we have a Hot Rod De-Ville 2x12. This is the Michael Landau amplifier. This is another beautiful clean tone. Both pickups. I mean, to me that sounds beautiful. I know it's got a pretty wet signal there when it comes to the reverb, but I kind of like it. This next one's the clean channel of a Fender Supersonic. Now, they've got 2 different voicings, and this one is the Bassman. Here we go. And they've also got the other side as well, which is the Vibrolux. Here we go. Let's end with a high gain tone thanks to a Friedman. Again, there's over 20,000 to pick from. I just wanted to pick some different ones to the videos I've seen on this particular unit already. So here we go. Volume down. Man, it's got such a great produced guitar track sound already. Yeah, that'll do. All right, let's wrap this video up. I'm gonna give you my final thoughts on the Kemper Profiler Player. So there's some stuff that I really love about this, and there's some stuff that I don't love. I'm gonna explain why. So I used to own the Kemper rack unit head, the unpowered one, just the passive one, and I loved the tones of it, but I hated the user interface, and I didn't really love the Rig Manager software. The Rig Manager software hasn't come anywhere in years. It still looks antiquated and old. I really wish they made it a lot more visual looking. Now you can bring up shots of your signal chain and all that kind of stuff, but it still isn't very intuitive if you're just getting started. The Kemper Profiler Player is great for someone who already understands and owns a previous Kemper product, and you can add this to your rig and you're going to love it. Now, as someone who had already pre-profiled my amps with the old unit, I got a lot of enjoyment out of this tone-wise. I was able to get the sound of my amps without using them. It's just fantastic at doing that particular thing. It's got plenty of different effects that you can assign to different buttons and so forth. But I really feel like if you're just getting into this and you want your own amps profiled, you're at the mercy of the Rig Manager software, which is pretty cumbersome, and it's also a little bit overwhelming. There's over 20,000 different profiles you've got to sort through, and plenty of them don't sound great. Everyone's taste is different. You've got to really just go through and find the ones that speak to you. Otherwise, you're just at the mercy of the presets. Now, if you're just looking for a presets option, there's plenty of different sort of modeling amplifier type things like this that you could save money on and not spend the same amount of bucks on this as you would other alternatives. But I think where this shines is if you've already got the profiles that you love, that's where this is going to be a really great investment. Say for example, you've got a YouTube channel and you just want to review guitars. That's where something like this would really save your ears long term. No need for like loud amplifiers in the room, and it sounds friggin' phenomenal. I really love the tones of this and that jam track. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna buy this. But I'm not gonna buy it just yet. So in my situation where I go overseas every few years, I'm always looking for a solution to record my jam tracks without using an actual amplifier. Last year I took the Strymon Iridium, it was a friend of mine's, and it was a great little unit. I think this sounds way better than the Strymon Iridium. But where the Iridium actually has an advantage over this is the fact that it's a lot easier to use and it sounds great. So it's up to you. In the context of a mix, you're probably not going to hear a huge difference, but this has everything built in, so I didn't need to bring my other effects with me, delays and all that kind of stuff to get a great tone. So the profiler really makes that easy. Now, everybody likes different stuff, and if you're not a fan of having to hook things up to a phone or computer, you're not going to like this whatsoever. I'm sort of in the middle. I don't mind hooking something up to a computer, and then if I can get it sorted out and set up, then I never have to hook it up again. If you can get this set up in a way that's going to work for you and you won't need to hook it up to a computer again, then you're going to be fine, but you still have to have that learning curve of being able to do it. I don't think this is the most intuitive when it comes to setting it up. I have to reiterate, if you're coming at this with a previous Kemper product, you're going to love this, but I think people who are new to this whole ecosystem of products might not get that much enjoyment out of it, or they might find it frustrating just from a user interface point of view. As you can see over here, you need a printer style USB cable to hook this up to a computer, and it's not included in the box. So for 1,200 Australian dollars, there's no $1 cable in the box. I had to rummage through my garage to find one of those. So yeah, it's a small expense, but you know, if you got a unit like this that requires some sort of cable that needs to go to a computer, at least provide it. Now the argument might be just use your phone, right? Not everyone has an iPad. Not everyone wants to use their mobile phone with everything. So it's just food for thought there, just something to think about. At the end of the day, you can get great tones out of this, and as a portable device, if I ever go to Jerry's Lifted Guitars in his new Tennessee shop coming up, something like this would make that whole recording experience a lot easier. I'd have less ear fatigue, I'd be able to capture my tones, and it would just make recording a whole lot easier. So for those applications, I could absolutely see myself using this, but as a one and done Kemper device, I'm not sure. I'd probably lean towards something that allows me to capture my own profiles. Thanks for watching. Catch you soon. See ya.